What's up, everybody? Hello, world. This is your boy. You got the Sugarhill Gang Podcast. And, of course, it's me, the Master G. And I am joined by my brothers and my peoples. Say what's up, T Dynasty.
What's up, T Dynasty?
There you go. That's Diamond, T Dynasty, the illustrious one, slash producer, slash DJ, slash musician. And, of course, we got the Hen Diggity dog, Hen Dog, the media circus of Sugarhill Gang, Mr. Panache, Mr. Posh himself. What up, dude?
What's happening, baby?
Look at him. Boy, sucking down like a fucking
That boy cleaning in a point of health.
That boy. And today, hey, yo, listen. Today is what's up now. Today is crazy. Today's crazy. Who we got on this joint today? Ladies and gentlemen, come on now. Talking about royalty now.
Please stop playing around. Give it up for the one and only.
Rahzel. What's up, Rahzel?
Please stop stop messing up your whole craft.
Yeah. Hey, Diamond tries to beatbox, but
I try.
But like I said, try. So
it's all good.
Okay, and as hugely popular as you are, and you are, just for the benefit of maybe the small, minute, microscopic, minuscule of a part of the planet that does not know you, give us a little bit of who you are, what you do. Talk to us. Tell the world what's going on. To our fans.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, man.
World beatbox champion.
Yes,
Word
sir.
up.
World beatbox. How many titles do you hold, Ra?
Man, listen, I stopped counting. I stopped counting, man. I was like, listen, we just going for the gusto down.
Rod, tell me, did you knew that's what you wanted to do, or you just kind of fell into it, or you just discovered that, you was just excellent at it? Did you work on it, or, of course you work on it, but I'm just saying, what inspired you?
I mean, what initially inspired me were you guys, Sugarhill Gang, Grandmaster Flash, Cold Crush Brothers, that whole era, like Fantastic, you know what I mean? Fearless.
Okay.
Right.
That whole era inspired me. But for those who don't know, Raheem from the Furious Five, that's my cousin.
Big shout out to Raheem.
Okay, that's what's
Big
up.
shout out to Raheem.
Big shout out to Raheem, no doubt.
Also my namesake, Guy. What up, Guy? This is from the other guy. You know Guy. He know what I'm talking about. We always do that. What up, Guy? He be like, what up, Guy?
Yes, sir. So, initially, man, like when you guys came on the scene, I was like, that was the blueprint.
Okay, well, stop. Okay, so let me hit you because we do this with everybody. We gotta put a title on it. Tell us your Rapper's Delight story. Give it to us.
Okay, my Rapper's Delight story. When I first heard the record, like I knew about you guys, but didn't hear you guys at the time. But once you guys hit the scene, I was like, this is the blueprint. That was the blueprint for everybody. So if you wanted to be a rapper, that was the bulb went off. That's what I want to do. I want to rap.
That was it.
My cousin, and Raheem, and that was just like the icing on the cake. I'm like,
man,
all right, this is it. Hands down, I'm like, this is.
Let's talk about real quick. Yeah, let's just make sure we put out there the absolute dynamic and total magistry of the Furious Five, and we talking about Melly Mel, Scorpio, Rio, of course, Raheem, and God rest his soul, Cowboy.
Yeah,
I mean, oh my God, when I'm telling you the mind blowing, total, like, oh man, I got to check myself feeling that I had the first time I heard the Furious Five. Wow. I mean, you know, we at the time, and I'm gonna go into it a little bit quick. At the time, we were already kind of very popular. By the time I met the Furious Five, you know, we were really hot, and I thought I was feeling my oats, and you know, I was doing live concerts at that point, and girls were losing their mind, and you know, tearing off throwing the, you know, the panties on the stage and all this kind of foolishness. I thought I was the guy, and then I heard the Furious Five. Oh man, I saw it, and then they did the damn steps too. They was doing the steps. It was like watching the hottest rappers I'd ever seen combined with the baddest Temptations band, along with the hardest party rockers on the planet. So when you say that, you know, you were inspired by the Furious Five, I mean, I could totally get it because they made me step my green.
Yeah.
I'm so mad when he got to
don't let your cousin start that damn singing either.
Yo, listen.
Let him start singing.
That's where I got my little falsetto from. I'm like, yo,
right?
Cuzzo had me buzzing. But like you guys were the blueprint, man. Like that was like the sparkle in my eye. I'm like, yo, it was so many layers, and then, you know, actually seeing the Furious and Grandmaster Flash as a kid rehearsing was crazy.
That's what I'm talking about.
And
right.
But that's what led me in now when Flash introduced the beatbox, the little drum machine. That was it.
That's when you heard it.
Like I had an aha moment. That was the moment. I don't even think Flash understood the impact that recording had.
Right.
Like it started out on tape. It was a tape in the park. Then they put it on record. Explosive.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, from that came Fat Boys, Dougie Fresh, and I mean, it was like that impact was just incredible, and it had a big impact on me because I was trying to figure out what the hell it was because I didn't see it, I just heard it.
Right.
And you know, just in the process, when you're a kid, and you know, everybody wanted to have a group, so I'm running, you know, we running around trying to put together groups and all of that, and like, yo, who got the turntables, who got the speakers, and
don't forget the speakers.
I just put myself in a position where like, yo, I'm gonna be the beatbox, yo.
Oh.
And that's how it all got set off from there.
Okay.
It all got set off, and I was fortunate because once it exploded, like once Doug and the Fat Boys and the other groups, you know, DMX, the original DMX.
Shout out to all of them, man. Shout out to all of them.
Yeah. I mean, we could. There's a whole slew of people that came out. You know, Reddy Roxy from Philadelphia. Like it just took off. Skinny Boy from Connecticut.
Right.
It just took off in a crazy way. But I was fortunate enough to be like I grew up in Queens, so I was fortunate enough to be around the late great Paul C. McCaffrey. I produced a whole great records back in the day before his untimely death.
Wow.
And I remember auditioning for him, and I did Flash to the beat.
Yeah.
He was like, yo, you sound just like the Machine. So that's when he started introducing me to the SP12.
Okay.
To the drum, to the rolling.
Okay.
It was a different experience. Like I had a different experience with the drum machine. Like I had a relationship.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's always been my philosophy from day one, was to man versus machine.
Got it.
Right.
Always man versus machine for me.
How old were you, Ra, at that time?
Around that time, I had to be about 14.
Okay.
About 13, 14. You know what I'm saying? My introduction, and I remember like maybe my first second year of high school. That's when I started going in the studio, and he used to just like, yo, play all of these beats for me. It was like, all right, let me see if you can imitate that. Let me see if you can imitate this. And he would break it down for me, like snare kick, hi-hats, bass line, you know, and other different instruments. So I was in 2 schools. I was in high school and I was in music school, drum machine school.
Right.
So that's how it all took off for me, man. Like,
wow. That's what's up.
1979 was my introduction to the beatbox. That's when Flash brought it to the forefront. I say about around 1980, 81. That's when I was like the mad scientist with it.
Right.
Like I was in the studio every single day, like just practicing, trying to get the snare, trying to get the bass kick. And you know, much props to Buffy, Dougie, Bismarcky, because
definitely.
No question.
Because they took it to a whole nother level as far as making records and as far as live performances. Because I remember seeing Fat Boys at Madison Square Garden when Buffy came out. I was blown away, and it just, like you said, like the Furious made you go back to the lab, like these dudes made me go back to the lab, bro. Like when Buffy came out with he had the clicks and the sound effects and all that.
Yeah.
I'm like, back to the lab, man.
Man,
and I got to give a big shout out to Michael Winslow.
Okay.
When I was introduced to Michael Winslow, okay, Paul C, what was dope about him, not only him introducing me to all these different drum machines earlier on, he introduced me to a lot of music. So he introduced me to like artists like Al Jarreau.
Okay. All right.
When I heard Al Jarreau live, 1975.
Yeah. Oh.
Him doing all the drums.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yo.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what's up.
Like if you look at that video today, it still kills. Like he's doing it all a cappella.
Al Jarreau was incredible.
Incredible.
Yeah,
incredible.
That's
incredible.
Incredible. So salute to the OG. God rest, man.
Yeah.
No doubt.
He had skills that were his skills were unbound, man. I mean, there's no way really to put a harness around the level of intensity that this guy Al Jarreau he just became music. You know what I mean?
Right,
he digested it and then he distributed it, in a way where it was so infectious that you had to listen.
Right.
It was almost a sin not to listen. Oh my God. We get it. We can keep going there because in my research, you did some stuff with Bobby McFerrin.
Yeah. Absolutely. And Bobby McFerrin was another. He was another one. Like Paul introduced me to Bobby McFerrin.
Yeah,
he introduced me to George Benson.
Yeah. Oh, there's another one.
You feel me?
George was nasty with that.
Yeah. But let's backpedal a little bit. Bobby McFerrin is a pretty reclusive cat, man. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I don't know if you guys really noticed, but he, of course, probably has one of the most successful songs. Also, he's got his Rapper's Delight. You know what I mean? He's got his Rapper's Delight, but he was the first guy that I ever saw. Like when the video went down, he was performing with no shoes on. You know what I mean? And I saw that, and I was like, wait a minute, there's something different about this cat. And then the more I dug into, who he was, who he is, and I don't know if he's still alive, but who he was.
Yeah, he's still around.
Good. But the kind of dude this is, man, very intense, very musical, but very self-contained.
Now, when I heard Bobby McFerrin, that was the game changer.
I heard that.
That was the game changer, because what Paul was trying to teach me all that time was the musicality,
right,
of making records, of making songs, of making music.
Right.
My focus was the drum machine.
Mm-hmm.
But once I heard Bobby McFerrin, got it.
There you go.
Even though I should have had it at Al Jarreau, but Bobby McFerrin, he changed it for me. Like, he changed it. Like, seeing him live and listening to all his records, like, I got all his albums, like, from the first to, he got over 20 albums.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. You know that, man, and that's the thing. You got to really know your history about Bobby McFerrin. Right. That cat is a consummate musician, man. He's quite the artist, man, and an amazing songwriter too. Also,
yes.
He's again another spiritual musician. I call him a spiritual musician because he's about the actual performance, and not the glitz and the glamour. And I respect that because I personally kind of subscribe to that same level of performance and distribution of our craft. So people gotta you gotta dig into the crates almost with him to find out about him. But he goes very deep, man. He goes very, 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 very
deep, man. And and later on down the road in the 90s, when I hooked up with the Roots, that just opened up a whole nother.
That was gonna be my next question. Tell me about that. Tell us about that. Tell me how that became.
That just opened me. we talking about this.
How did that happen?
Diving head first into the jazz world, like, and R&B world, like, it was just like, man, it was just like an out of body.
Wow. Did you meet Quest, or were you in Philly, or how did it happen?
Like, I grew up in Hollis, so I grew up around Run and D, Jam Master J.
Mm-hmm.
So during the late 80s, I was in a group called DEF with Irv Gotti and Chris Gotti. So I was like, I was the man pretty much. I was like the number one draft pick. Like, everybody was trying to get me on their team. So I was rolling with Irv and Chris during that time. And I think at that time Irv started DJing for Jazzo.
Okay.
Jazzo and Jay-Z. So that's how Irv and Jay-Z got that connect.
Wow.
And so we were signed to JMJ Records for a short time. We recorded a couple of songs with my man Romeo. Romeo actually wrote Belly with Hype Williams.
Okay. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
that
that kind of fizzled out. You know what I'm saying? We really didn't go through with the recording process, so that kind of fizzled out. Everybody went their way, so I was kind of like in limbo. And I'm like, okay, what's going to be my next move? So I had my first son Rahzel Jr.
All right.
So I'm like, okay, I got to get a job. I got to get a job. So it was kind of eating me up because I'm like, yo, I'm like out here killing it, and all of a sudden just stop.
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So
yes, we do.
Honestly,
yes, we do.
This is probably like the early '90s, and I was like, I might have to throw in the towel, but I'm like, man, I was full steam. I'm like, oh. So I was really considering it. I was like, all right, let me go back to school. I'm gonna work at the bank. I got a job at the bank. You know, I had the suit and tie. I'm like, all right. All right, let's do it, man. You know, we got responsibilities now, man. So we gotta, take care of what we need to take care of.
Right.
Yep.
So a good friend of mine, God rest, his name is Matt Dew.
Okay.
Matt Dew is he was an artist. Actually, he did Organized Confusion's first cover.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So he's a pretty hip hop character. He does hip hop characters and stuff like that. Right. He just kept blowing me up. He's like, "Yo, Rod, what you doing, man?" I'm like, "Yo, working, got a job, trying to take care, taking care of my responsibilities." He's like, "Rod, man,
to take care of the responsibilities."
Yes, sir. He's like, "Rod, you gotta." He said, "Yo, the world gotta know about you, bro. You can't just let it go. You too ill." I'm like, I'm like, "Yeah, I know, man." I'm like, it was gonna be one of those like unsung moments, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm like, shit. So he said, "Listen, hold tight, man." Then I probably got a call from him. He's like, "Yo, I got this artist that needs a beatboxer on an album." And I'm like, "All right, let's do it." I'm still working.
Right.
I'm not thinking nothing of it. I'm like, and her name was Shaki.
Okay.
So basically, when we hooked up, went in the studio, she was blown away. Like, "Yo, shit, I want you on every track." I want you on every track. So we kind of, we did our thing. You know what I'm saying? And on the side, like during the summer, I would take vacation and whatever, and I would go on a road with her. And during that time, that was like the resurgence, like underground hip hop, like the Village,
Gotcha.
like the Village Gate, CBGB,
right?
Yes.
Bond Street Cafe,
sir.
Joe's Pub, like
right.
Down in Soho,
right.
Cafe Bar,
Cafe, New Rican Cafe. So all the crazy MCs from all over, Mos Def, Khalid Kweli, Common, like people was coming from all over.
Right.
It was just surging. It was just bubbling. It was just crazy. And so one night at the Supper Club, y'all remember the Supper Club? I think it was on 47th.
Wow.
I think I think it was
that was around from the Blue Angel, right?
Damn, where was this? The Supper Club? I can't remember the exact street, but it was in Town Square.
Okay.
The Supper Club. And y'all remember Giant Step?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, Giant Step used to throw a lot of these functions with the poets, with the MCs and the musicians.
Mm-hmm.
So Shaki was like, "Listen, tonight, we got this drummer from Philly, and I want you to battle him." So now all of this stuff is happening. I'm working. I got a job. I got a 9 to 5. I got a 9 to 5 while all of this is happening, bro. Like I got a 9 to 5. He's
right.
Like, so after work, I will go run to the Supper Club, do my thing, stay out all night, wake up early, and go back to work the next morning. So she said, "Yo, I got this drummer. I want you to battle." I'm like, "All right, bring it on. No problem with me. Let's do it."
Right.
So boom, Time of the show, he gets on, do with the afro. I'm like, all right, he nice. I get on. He's like, oh, and he started doing this thing. We going back and forth. We trade. The crowd is going crazy. The crowd is going super crazy. So after the show, the manager, Richard Nichols, he was like, yo, we need to recreate that on record. And I'm like, word? We need to recreate that on record. He said, listen, we just signed to Geffen Records. We in the studio right now. What you doing tomorrow? Remember, I got a job.
I'm going to work. That's what I'm doing.
He's like, yo, what you doing tomorrow? I'm like, yo, I'm working tomorrow. He's like, yo, what you doing after work? I'm like, yo, come out to Philly.
Oh, right on the first thing smoking.
After work, I was out. Got the Sigma. I walk into Sigma. I'm like, yo, this is Philly sound, yo. This is Gamble and Huff.
You in the
hub, brother. I'm bugging now because I'm like, yo, I've only heard about this, on record or people talking about it, but to actually be in that studio with all the greats, Teddy Pendergrass.
Yes, sir.
I mean, the list goes on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we just started recording, man.
Wow.
And then the rest was history, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, of course, we know you. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. Listen, bro. When you start singing choruses while you beatboxing, now, hold on. Now, damn it, it was you killing it enough while you damn beatboxing. I'm trying to get my breath to say, just trying to get a little something. And you're going to say, you know what, man?
Yeah, that's messed up.
That's messed up. I don't want to play with him no more.
That's messed up.
Boy,
that ain't fair. He ain't playing fair, dude.
He ain't playing fair.
He ain't playing fair.
Listen, we come from the era where you had to be original.
Yeah.
That's right.
I couldn't do Dougie. I couldn't do Biz. I couldn't do Fat Boys.
Right.
I couldn't be Ready Rock.
Right.
So, we all had to kind of invent our own style and persona.
Yeah, invent your own lane. Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we know that's not true today. Everything is cookie cut, and if you can do it, I can do the same thing.
Right.
Everybody sound the same. You don't know who's who.
Right.
So, we're from that era that, we had to kind of step up our game. Like you said, G, like, yo. Every steel sharpens steel.
What?
And everybody was like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
I gotta go back to it.
And I started doing more push-ups.
Right. So, you know what I'm saying? Much blessings go to Bismarcky, man. For
man, no doubt.
You know what I'm saying?
I heard he's doing better, so
Yes.
Yeah, man. That's what's up.
Yeah,
right,
God bless, man. Bismarcky, man. And I remember hanging with Biz, and Biz used to do the talking and rhyming. The talk, the rhyme, the talking and the beatboxing, like, my name is.
Oh, yeah.
1, 2. He used to do that. So I was like, yo, next time I see you, I'm going to ask you. So, in typical fashion, like, yo, how can I top that?
You did.
Which is not easy.
Like, then, once LL dropped I Need Love,
that was it.
I was like, okay. That changed my whole format too, because it's like, all right, there's no beatboxers doing love songs, yo.
Right.
Good point. Good point.
I got something I need you to do for me for right now. Hold on.
Oh boy.
So that was around the time y'all remember Moments in Love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Art of Noise.
Right.
I used to do Moments in Love. I mean, Shy and all that. Like I used to do a lot of the love songs.
Right.
Remember Computer Love?
Yeah.
That's one of my
like,
favorites.
All of those records became a part of my repertoire.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I need love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then adding Bismarck's tricks, I was like, all right, I gotta start singing.
Yeah.
Then I added that to the repertoire.
You've been everywhere with this, man. Where are some of the places that you perform? Tell us some, tell everybody some of the places that you've been, man.
Man, I mean, I'm over Australia, from the Gold Coast, Sydney,
Love
Perth,
Australia, Sydney, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? New Zealand.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We've been to Fiji, we've been to Indonesia, we've been to Japan, we've been to China,
That's what's
Shanghai, Hong Kong, Beijing. You know what I'm saying? We've been to Russia. Right. We've been all over Europe. You know, we touched Africa, the continent of Africa a couple of times, Senegal, South Africa, South America.
Okay.
You know, so
nice,
that's a great feeling when you can touch the planet, man.
Oh yeah.
You know what
do you? Yes, I do. Check the move. Where? How do you feel when you go to a country like, we've been to plases like Estonia. We've been to places like Slovenia. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And those are places that they really don't see it. They hear it. And some of the countries were literally, like in Slovenia, they weren't even allowed to listen to hip hop until the 90s. Until they left, they came out of communist reign.
Right.
They were all part of the former USSR. Until they came out of communist reign, it was actually illegal to listen to our music.
Yeah.
They was listening to it underground. So a lot of stuff they got, like they didn't get a lot of Sugar Hill stuff till the 90s. So the 80s Sugar Hill stuff to like somebody in Slovenia was like brand new music. You know what I mean? And then to have us come there and physically perform, it was like they were seeing the astronaut.
Right.
You know what I mean? Landing. So I know you've experienced that, especially with being, the beatbox, because the beatbox, like you hear, you see the dancing, you hear the songs, you see it on but the beatbox is a form of hip hop that is not really done on a grand scale globally. So what happens when you actually are doing it? Because I watched a video that you did. It was 2018, and you were in like an arena, and you were doing a song, and you was a crowd response kind of thing. What are you experiencing, man, when you're in that place that they've never seen it done live before?
I mean, it's crazy, man, and I'm definitely fortunate and blessed, man, and grateful to be able to kind of lay the track work, lay the groundwork out for all the beatboxers today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just being able to go to these different countries that didn't have access to what we have access to, and kind of give them that energy and that vibration. It just exploded in a great magnitude.
Yeah. Yeah. Because,
yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I mean, to me, it was just crazy. It was crazy. It was like just to see it explode in every country all over the world. Like, that impact.
The thing that people have to take, for America, because we come from America, Americans have access to us, and they've had access to us since the very beginning. You know what I mean? All the beatbox, all the hip hop, DJing, scratching, everything happened, and it's an American thing. Of course, initially it was a New York metropolitan thing, you know, and so what people have to get, and sometimes they don't understand, is that we were like landing, all of us, yourself, us, Furious 5 Flash. We were like astronauts landing on the moon when we go to these places, man, and do this thing. You know,
Right.
to us it's very natural, you know, but to a cat that has never seen it physically done, it's almost like a religious experience, you know. And then
Right.
and then to people who haven't seen it or have been listening to it for years, you know, and then they finally get it. You know, like I've met people that, you know, were listening to us in the 70s and didn't see me until 2010, you know, and it was like, you know, my whole life I've been waiting for this to happen, you know, and now you know, it's like I can't believe that I'm actually listening to. And then even some people, to the fact where they talk to us, you know, they said, man, I'm actually talking to you. It's crazy. The responsibility that you have being that person, you're literally, I call us ambassadors. We're ambassadors of hip hop. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You're a diplomat. You are a diplomat of the beatbox aspect of hip hop. Just like, you know, somebody is the diplomat of France, or somebody's the diplomat of, you know, this, or the ambassador of, we are those people. You know,
Right.
you know, Michael Wright, Wonder Mike, he's the first coming. He's the ambassador of the first coming of hip hop music. You know what I mean? So there's a lot in a person having that connection with him. You know, that goes into the annals of the greatest things that have happened in my life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's why I bring that, which brings me to you. You know, you have been and will continue to be one of the greatest things that have happened to people in their life.
Right.
Right.
You know,
Right.
that's a crazy situation, man.
Yeah.
Message.
That's a big responsibility, man. And
Real.
it's a big responsibility, and you know, to me, I don't take that lightly. You know, so I take what I do very seriously, like, because, you know, living in New York, you know, it's a competition, and you know, you gotta. That's what it is. That's our culture. You know, but sometimes you gotta look out. You gotta look outside of that and look outside of yourself, because it's bigger than that.
Right.
You know, for years,
Speak to that, man.
everybody was like,
speak to that. Yeah.
You know, chasing Rockefeller.
Mm-hmm.
You know, chasing Rough Rider. You know, everybody looking, you know, to be on that scale of things.
Right.
But when I had another aha moment is when I went to Sao Paulo in Brazil. And, you know, it was like a school.
You got your audio?
Can you guys hear me?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Say it. You said you went to Sao Paulo, and what happened?
Sao Paulo, it was like a government funded festival.
Okay.
For kids. And meeting this lady that just kept saying, you know, she couldn't really speak English, so, you know, they had a little translator, and she was saying, like, you know, my son, oh my God, like, he can't stop playing your record. He keeps playing it over and over and over and over. And, you know, I couldn't, you know, at one point in time, I couldn't get him to stay in school. You know, I couldn't get him to, you know, to act right. And, you know, he wanted this CD so bad. So I got him this CD. He's in school now. He's doing great. So I'm thinking, like, okay, yeah, that's awesome. But then to hear this 10-year-old kid that had already, like, surpassed my skills at 10 years old was phenomenal. And to see in that city, like there were pockets and groups of other kids that was taking the beatbox to a whole nother level. And we're talking 5,000 miles away from New York.
Yes.
You know, we're talking 5,000, 7,000 miles away from New York.
Yes.
That impact. Like, you're not thinking, like, there's a 10-year-old kid right now that's inspiring to be. You feel me?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
so that's when I see G, Master G, I gotta go like this.
Yeah.
I was that kid that was like, yo, that was my first rap.
And I tell people, man, and I like I told you earlier, and we talked about this a little bit before we went on, that you know, early on it was very hard for me to take that in. You know, that's why I asked you about it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you being a very, very similar to my situation as far as, you know, being an astronaut and landing on the moon. You know what I mean? I was, you know, I definitely, even so, almost to this day still, you know, are people's, you know, astronaut. You know what I mean? I mean, and early on, I didn't take it all in. It was something that as a humble person, or a person that's really about the art, really wasn't looking at. You know, I didn't take that aspect of what it is that we do. You know, it's like, to me, I'm an artist, and I'm like Erica Du says, I'm an artist. I'm sensitive about my shit. You know what I mean? I dig it. I love doing it. And that was the thing for me. It was like, okay, my whole goal is to be able to do this thing on the grand level. That's my goal. I mean, I want to be able to do this. But I didn't, it took a little bit of time, and it took a little bit of soul searching to realize, and, you know, Diamond can attest to this. Last year, we had been touring for pretty nonstop from 2016 on, and we hadn't toured like that before because of, you know, a lot of other situations. And literally, we got over in the beginning of our tour last summer, and I was literally like, you know, there wasn't too many things that I hadn't done, and it wasn't, you know, too many things. It was so many monetary things that I wanted to do, and I had done it, and, you know, all these different situations. So I'm sitting there, and we in the flat in London, and I'm like, I'm woe is me, you know, I'm woe is me, you know, like, oh man, I'm out here, and I had to really stop and think about what you just said. I got to think about the kid or a grown up, you know, that their whole life was changed by listening to Rapper's Delight or Eighth Wonder or Apache, or they saw us on, we were talking to this cat, a UK artist not too long ago. First time he saw me was on a television show called Top of the Pop. I mean, you know, I had to take all that in and start saying, I got to do this for those people, you know. Right. So I called last year was to give the people what they want tour. That's what I called it, because that person that needed to have that experience was still out there.
Yeah.
And I had to start embracing the fact that as long as I still have the breath in me to do this, my responsibility is to that person.
Right.
Absolutely.
You know, and it gave me a resurgence of energy, and it gave me the motivation that I needed to go out there and do it, man, because the experience is real.
Right.
You know, for music, people, and then the person, unless you do what we do, you know, that's why I think this is a cool opportunity now, and I hope people get a chance to tune in, because you're going to get all walks of life to tune into this thing. You know, for a person who doesn't perform, you just have no idea what it's like, man, to turn somebody on with what you do.
Right.
Right.
You know, it's an amazing gift. It's a total experience, man, where, you know, because I have the ability to rock a crowd, you know, somebody's going to be excited. It's going to be motivated. You know, that thing is incredible. And I've still to this day haven't succeeded with putting it into words, but I think that you did a really well, really good job, Rob, of putting it into context.
No question.
Yeah, you know, you know, and I live by that now. You know, even during the pandemic, it's kind of like, you know, you on freeze. Like, okay, during the pandemic, I'm like, yo, everything shut down, everything stopped, nothing's moving.
Mm-hmm.
So, Brian, you still in New York?
I'm up in Connecticut now.
You in Connecticut now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in Connecticut. So, I'm like, man, thinking fast forward, still working on projects as much as I can. And I'm like, man, this is crazy, man.
I know it, man. You've been doing anything virtual, like on Zoom or anything like that, any kind of performances?
I'm me, like I said earlier, that's cool.
Right.
That's cool if you got on the first wave. But now everybody's doing it.
Right.
I'm more of, like, to me, I'm on vibration and frequency. You can't feel it. It don't feel the same coming out of a phone or a computer.
That's right.
See, that's one thing, with actually mastering the art of the drum machine and the art of, this sound.
Right.
It's frequency.
Yeah, man.
That resonates through people.
Yeah, that's right. You're absolutely right about that. That you can't replace that energy. You know what I mean?
Right.
I remember on 60 Minutes one time they asked Bruce Springsteen. They say, why you? Said, man, you got all the money in the world. You had a great career and stuff like that. He said, why you continue to perform? He said, man, it's the biggest high in the world to be on stage, feel all that energy coming towards you. You know what I mean? There's nothing like it. Nothing like it, man.
So to me, I'd rather be in front of people, honestly.
I hear you.
It has a different impact.
No question.
But now, Rod, since you said project, what's the next project that you working on beside the one you working on with us? You like how I did that, right? You like how I did that? I like that. Why play around with it? Just,
Right, exactly.
Y'all the one you're doing with us. What else?
But listen, I'm here for it, brother. Whatever you need.
No doubt.
Right now I'm working on my documentary. So, it's kind of touching on what we're talking about right now. We're getting into a little, the documentary is going to be a little more in depth. I actually want to touch on just having a voice.
I got
you. You understand, having a voice, because living in New York, man, it's loud, and there's a lot going on at the same time.
Yeah.
And a lot of people aren't heard. So, just like when you're a child that's not getting attention, and that child always acts out because they want attention. That's New York. New York is that kid that wants attention, so it's going to act out. But I want to, in the documentary, I'm touching on, like, the kids that don't have, that are looking for that inner voice, that have fear or that are traumatized, and me being that kid, and how I found my voice.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I found my voice through music.
Right.
I found my voice with imitating people, instruments, sounds, frequencies.
Right.
Like, I found my voice, and I wanted to touch on that because, like I said, the impact that I've had on other people. Other people have come to me from all over the world when I'm in that country or that city and said, "You changed my life."
Right.
Here I'm a kid that grew up in Queens. I was in foster care.
All right.
And, like, foster care is no joke. I'm sure it's the same way to 2020. It's not a joke.
Foster care in Queens. I feel you.
You know what I mean? So it's not a joke. So to be able to survive that, because of small percentage of children that go through the system actually make it out.
Yeah, most people don't make it.
With their sanity.
Yeah, they go crazy. Yeah.
So to me, finding that place and finding that place where my voice meant something, or I meant something to other people helped me evolve. So I'm touching on those different levels because I know kids that I talk to, they have a hard time.
Right.
And some of these kids like, yo, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And then when I heard you, I was like, if he can do that, then sky's the limit. You know, because people feel that they have to fit in to what everybody else is doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So to me, I've been trying to, with the documentary, I want to break that mold and kind of help other kids that are kind of like, you know, in those predicaments. And even if you're not in that predicament, to inspire you to be a better person. Because
that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm working on that documentary. I'm also working on a TV show with Influencers TV. It's actually the day in the life of a beatboxer. It's called Monumental.
Okay.
So basically, I'm going around the country, going around the globe, and I'm beatboxing in front of different monuments.
Okay.
You know, I got different sections. I'm gonna have to get you guys on there to do a freestyle.
No doubt. That's what's up.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? To do a freestyle.
Ready for you.
I'm working on that. I'm working on the book. You know, for a couple of years now, I got a curriculum in the can that, you know, once the COVID and all of that stuff.
Yeah, man.
We'll try to get that into different schools.
No doubt.
You know, try to get that into different schools, and you know, I'm just, you know, to me, I'm just trying to give back.
Right.
What hip hop is giving me, man.
No question.
And I know there's always, you know, it's always somebody. I don't care what level you on, whether you are a millionaire,
right,
or if you're less fortunate. You know,
absolutely.
you can always get a message from, you know, being able to defy adversity.
Yeah. Right.
And we all come from that. We all know what that is.
No question.
And so we all know what that is. No matter how great or how small it is, we all had to defy something.
Yeah.
We all had to go through something, you know, in order to evolve.
Yes,
right.
You know, so I mean, and peeling back a layer on that, I learned a lot from you guys, Sugarhill, Furious 5, Sequence, like all you guys that was on Sugarhill Records. Now you know Sugarhill was notorious. Notorious. So that was honestly, but I know you guys went through those trials and tribulations, but for a young guy like me coming into the industry, it was an eye opener. Mm-hmm. It made me woke to the pitfalls.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So you know.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, I'm quite sure there's other artists that seen that, and to me, it's like, okay, you got to know how to maneuver because these are the things that are out there that are happening. Yeah. And it's happening currently. I mean, that's just the way.
Oh yeah, no question. No question.
Unfortunately,
definitely happening currently.
Unfortunately, the music entertainment itself is a predatory business. It preys on those that don't know. That's the key. That's unfortunate, and there's so much money in entertainment. There's enough money for everybody to flourish, but the powers that be don't take it on that way. So what has to happen is So what has to happen, like in our case, you know, we had to use your word. We had to evolve to a point where we were strong enough to be able to handle our handle, you know, and fortunately for us, we were able to do that. So we emerged victorious in the end, you know, but the problem is that most people, it comes from that situation. It starts off where they're preyed upon and everybody doesn't understand the power of rising through the adversity, you know, in every adversity lies the seeds to equal or greater benefit. So what people have to understand is if you have that craft and you've been given the opportunity to express that craft, you got to get ready for everything else that comes with it. So, you know, that alone has, you know, leaps and bounds in, you know, what has to happen, you know, so it's people like yourself again, and people like us who know what it's like. You know, we speak from experience. When I tell a person I know what it's like to go through the drama, you know, the person can know for a fact, because all I gotta do is check my history. So if they look at what I'm doing now or how I am as a person now and say, wow, you know, that's who I want to be. I want to do this and I want to be like that, or I want to live this kind of way. You got to understand, man, you're seeing that towards the end of the story. The beginning of this thing and in the middle, you know, it was hell on wheels.
and Rob, how do you feel about the streaming platform now? You know, everybody, you know, they're not really doing like, you know, albums anymore. They're doing EPs, and you know, they're putting them out on these social media sites, you know, like Spotify.
That's great.
You know, so okay, all right.
That's great, because we're going back to the 80s now. The 80s and the 70s when everything was single driven.
True.
You feel me?
Very
so
true.
For me, that's great.
Exactly.
That's an amazing point. That's an excellent
great
point.
Because now I don't have to focus on 11 to 15 songs.
Right.
I can drop a single. I can just keep dropping singles.
Which is what it was back in the day.
One song, making that one song great, and drop it.
That's right.
And you're right. That's what we did.
I mean, that's the way I
always
look at
worked
it.
on the next.
I'm like, we're going back to the 80s with this. I'm like, oh my God, great. This is the 70s. That's when the singles was popping.
Yeah, man.
I remember as a kid, I wasn't really buying albums. I was buying the single.
Right.
12-inch. The 12-inch.
The 12-inch, exactly. I was buying the 12-inch. I wasn't buying the whole album.
Right.
Well, that's what we saw.
That was hot. That's what we got.
Right. And we put the 12-inch out. With the 12-inch single went out first. And then once everybody got turned on to the single, then we dropped the album.
Then he dropped the album. Yeah.
That was the process, as opposed to, like you're saying, now, you know, everybody drops the EP, 6 songs or 15 songs, or they got the album, 25, 30 songs, you know, the mixtape and all this kind of thing. No, the deal was, you know, we hit them with a joint. You know, you had to put it all, and like you said, you had to put it all in that song, man. You know, It wasn't like, well, I'll do this one right here, and you know, I'll put this other stuff on something else. No, it was like, I'm putting the kitchen sink on this one right here.
Right. Exactly.
I'll hit them in the head as soon as back then when the needle hit the wax, you know, but as soon as they hear this joint, they're like, oh my God, you know.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to be said about, you know, having to go for the fence. It's almost like, you know, like swinging for the fence and you got no choice. Go for the grand slam, you know.
Yeah,
how are you dealing with?
I love it. I love it the way it is now. It's like, okay, this is great because
man.
Now you can kind of diversify your platform. You can diversify your brand, and you don't have to be under the magnifying glass of a record label.
Right. Right. And then too, Rod, you don't have to worry about like a lot of times you can go to a record label and you have one direction, and then the record label will tell you, well, we like you, but we think this direction won't work for you. We want to put you in this direction. You know what I mean? Put you in that box. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And with the screaming and stuff like that, like you say, you develop your own platform. You develop your own character, your own identity. You know what I'm saying?
Your own identity.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you kind of play the game the way you want to play it.
Right.
You know, so to me, it's great because I learned a lot just being on Universal Records and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, once that situation kind of fizzled out and they start buying up all the subsidiaries and all of that, I was like, listen, should I re-sign or should I just go independent? And I went independent. I'm like, I see my growth being independent than being on the label. Because don't get me wrong, being on the label, you have access to the things they have access to.
It has its perks and advantages, no doubt.
It has its perks and advantages. But if to me, if you still want to have your freedom for your creativity.
Right.
And I can't cage that.
Right.
Like I gotta have free autonomy of my creativity. Like somebody can't tell me when and where to create. I can't do that.
Right. Right.
So I went the independent route, and you know, I did pretty well during that time. You know what I mean?
That's what's up.
And you know, just recalibrating to what's going on now. It's like, you know, I'm doing ringtones. I'm like,
oh, cool.
That's what's up. Okay.
I ain't got to do a whole record now.
Right.
I gotta do it like 10 seconds, yo.
That's great.
Right.
That's
you know
awesome.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do 10 seconds.
Yeah.
You go 10 by 10. You go 10 seconds.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So
that's what's up. Ringtones.
Right.
Yeah, ringtones are so popular now. So that's a good gig there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You won 2 Grammys.
3.
Which excuse me. Forgive me.
No doubt.
Stand corrected.
No doubt. Stand corrected.
Excuse me. 3. You won 3 Grammys.
We'll edit that part out.
Edit that part out. Did you attend the Grammys? I've never done it. You know what I mean? I've never attended a Grammy, and I've never won a Grammy. So I'm a little jealous.
I attended Grammys twice.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
that was very nice. Yeah. Did you perform?
Nah.
I think that would be like one of the crowning achievements of one's career, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, man.
Absolutely, man.
I mean, I would definitely love to perform on the Emmys and, you know,
right.
Those situations. I mean, I did the BET Hip Hop Awards.
Yeah, the guys did that.
Me, Doug, and Nicole Paris.
Right.
I heard about that. That hip hop. Doug, is that the one that Doug produced?
Nah.
Because I think he produced one of those shows. I think he was a producer on one of those BET
I'm not
shows.
I'm not sure.
Me neither. But I you know, again, like I said, I haven't won a Grammy. I haven't even been nominated. I don't know why. I can't figure it out right now. But but listen. What I learned. Another thing I learned from Bobby McFerrin was his collaboration game. Always had a collaboration. Talk about that.
He always collaborated with other artists. And I think that's why I won. That's why I got the Grammys, because I didn't put myself in a box.
Got you.
Like I got 7 nominations. And
I was going to talk about that.
And that's me collaborating with Björk, collaborating with Toots and the Maytals. God rest Toots, he just passed away. You know, collaborating with Toots, collaborating with Sean Paul, records with the Roots, records with Common, records with Everlast.
Records with Sugarhill.
Records with Sugarhill to be announced, right?
Did I just call that out there?
Where'd they come from?
Yo, so to me, like, I was always inspired by him because, you know, when he dropped the album was like Bobby McFerrin and Chick Corea. I'm like,
right.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, he would mix it up. You know what I'm saying? He would drop his own stuff, then he'll drop a collaborative effort. So to me, it's like, I need to get on that game right there. Because it's like if I'm collaborating with Björk, I'm tapping into her following.
Right.
If I'm doing a collaboration with Everlast, I'm tapping into his following.
Right.
If I'm doing a record with Ben Harper, I'm tapping into his people.
No doubt about it. That's what we did with Bob Sinclair when we did the La La song. We tapped into his audience. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we definitely see where you're coming from with that.
Yeah. So
what was your experience with Björk, man? She's
Björk?
Man, yeah.
Man, I think
she's a different individual, isn't she, man?
Far as recording, that was like my top 5.
Wow. Talk about that.
Best recording experiences. Like Björk, like what was cool about it, we recorded in New York and we recorded in London. So,
wow,
you know, the environment, you know, the atmosphere was.
Yeah.
I'm really big into that. I'm really big into the energy and vibration.
Right.
So the fact we recorded in different places, it brought something different out in me.
Mm-hmm.
And she gave me free autonomy. It wasn't like, oh, I need you to do this. You know, some artists I've worked with, they was like, okay, I need you to do it like this and do it like that. And I'm like, okay, if that's what you want, no problem.
Right.
But she was like, do you?
Do you? Exactly.
She was like, go. Whatever you feel, that's what it is.
Wow.
I think
that's
to
fun.
Me, like I was saying, like, I don't like having a harness on my creativity.
Right.
So when she allowed me to just be free with it, and I was a little skeptical, you know, during the recording process, but the finished product, man,
came out crazy.
Is she one of those ones working in different kilohertz? Like 432?
Yes. Yeah, she's on, yeah.
You know what I found out is that Bob Marley recorded at that frequency as well.
Yeah.
That frequency actually is a different thing. We did a track last year called Someone Like You, was recorded in that frequency. And I was going berserk when I was trying to do the remix because I didn't understand that it was recorded there. So everything I was doing, I was like, why am I not hitting right where I'm supposed to be hitting? And then it's like, no, it's in a different frequency. And I said, that's why it feels like that. It's a different feeling. So when you say, you know, the feeling, the vibe, that's why I asked.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I'm big on that, because for some people, they don't really understand that. And they like, you know, well, he's acting funny. I'm like, nah, like it's gotta be at a certain level, because I mean, different frequencies make you happy. Different frequencies heal your body.
Right.
Like, it's serious.
Yeah, it is, man. Different frequencies, you know, make you sad. You know, it definitely affects your mood. No question.
Yes.
I always think that if you can find the key that tunes people, when you even listen to Pharrell Happy, it's not just that he's saying happy. The key is taking you right there to what you're talking about. When you do Love on Top by Beyonce, you know, it's the key that comes in as soon as when she says bring the beat in, bam, you know, that key, you already doing like this.
Right.
It's the frequencies that are moving.
Yeah, it is, man. It really is. I mean, it's hard to imagine a world without music, because you know the frequency, what people gravitate to. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Very good.
So, yeah, man. Well, so that, you know, just being able to work with her, man, was phenomenal for me, man.
That's what's up.
That's crazy.
It was great. It was like, and the funny thing about it, she came to actually I was working with Mike Patton. We had put together a group called Peep and Tom. Well, at first we did like a duo. So it was kind of like Mike Patton versus Rahzel. You know, he's Mike Patton from Faith No More.
Okay.
Yeah, so like I said, I always think outside the box with people that I work with. And she came to the show, she seen the show, and she was almost finished with the album. And she was like, listen, we got to do the whole album all over, because I want you to do every track.
Wow.
So it was one of those moments again, I'm like, man. And I'm
crazy.
Man, this is Björk, man. I'm like, this is Björk.
Right. Yeah, she's huge.
So to me, to have that experience and have that under my belt, man, it's like, yo.
Yeah, she's done a few films. Too. She's a pretty good actress as well. You know.
Yeah.
She's one of my favorite, like out of the box kind of artists. You know what I mean? The things that she's done and the way that she handles her persona is pretty. It's pretty. It's pretty cool. You know.
Oh, wow. My brothers.
What's up?
They just made an announcement. The grand jury found no officers charged in Breonna Taylor.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Can you believe that, my brother?
It's gonna be a problem.
They're gonna tear up the city, man.
Can you believe that, my brother? No officers charged.
Well,
I
mean,
since we done went there.
Yeah, well, what are your thoughts on that, man? I mean, how are you dealing with, how are you dealing with what the world, what our world is dealing with, as far as that type of thing?
We gotta get Agent Orange, man. We gotta get him out of office.
Woo! Hold on.
We gotta get him out of office.
Yeah, no doubt, my brother.
We gotta get him out.
We gotta vote. No question. We gotta vote.
We gotta vote, man. People gotta really go out, turn up on this vote, man. We gotta get him out of there.
Yeah, man. We got to, brother.
We need a different frequency, man.
Yeah.
Because if it's making people feel comfortable spewing hate, we don't need that.
Exactly. Right. And that's all he does, man.
Bringing out that comfort.
He does.
Hey, Rob, on the real, you're on the platform right now, and if you were speaking to our people and to the police, what would you say?
If I was speaking to our people now, I'm like, we have to police our own. Like, serious. Like, we gotta start with us. We gotta teach us what's really going on out here.
Right.
Understanding how to protect ourselves, how to have resources within our community that we don't really need other people. Where we kind of, like where I live at, they're ready. They're ready out here.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be ready.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We need to be in position.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, listen to the Honorable Louis Minister Farrakhan.
Mm-hmm.
You can listen to him, and it's about preparation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we need
true.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I know everybody want to have a good time, take their mind away. I'm stressed at work, stressed with the kids, stressed with the husband, stressed with the wife, stressed with life. Mm-hmm. But there's something bigger, man, that we really need to know what's happening and what's going on.
I agree. I agree.
I agree. We need to know our rights for real.
Yeah, we do. We do, man.
We need to know these hidden traps that they have out there for us.
Right.
So we can avoid all of that, and we could be in the same position that they're in.
Mm-hmm.
Because as long as we're at a disadvantage, we always gonna keep falling for the banana in the tailpipe. We're gonna fall for the fish every time.
Right. And Rod, the thing that kills me is the fact that you hear a lot of them, not all of them, but you hear some of them say, well, we begging for a favor or something like that. No, we just want to be fair. We just want a level playing field. We just want to be fair, man. You know what I mean? We don't want to get up every morning and have to be behind the 8 ball.
Right.
Just want to be fair, man. Can we start at the same position? If you pass us, that's fine. But at least let us be fair.
Right.
Mm.
Now,
all right.
I will also want to say is we have the power.
Yeah, we do.
We have the economical power to shut this country down. Forget burning the store. Forget rioting.
Right.
I mean, I know most of it. That's not us. I understand the decoy. I understand that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I understand the decoy. But we have the economical power.
We do, my brother. We do.
To speak. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's the only thing they respond to.
The only thing they respond to. Their pocket. Their bottom line. Yep.
Yeah. That's it, man. Hey, look, I think that's a good way to bring this thing to unfortunate end, because we could do this all day. But I think, man, that, again, you know, to have you on the show is a very cool situation because you are definitely part of our, you know, it's almost like we're the fathers, you know, and we've had these children, and the children have had children. So you're part of the family, man. You know, I want to let you know that you are absolutely part of the family. You know,
stop borrowing my shirt.
Shut up. We're like, you know, it's the tree, and then the roots of the tree keep on branching out more roots. And, you know, to coin a phrase, roots, get it? But I thank you, man. Be quiet. And I thank you for being that, man. And I thank you for doing what you're doing, and keep up the good work. And really appreciate you being down with us and doing this. It means a lot to us, man. So, Rod, thank you so much.
Yo, salute to you guys, man. And once again, man, thank you, man, for being that inspiration.
Thank you.
Thank you for, like, you know, just opening my eyes, man, being the blueprint, having a shoulder to stand on. Because
thank you. That means a lot.
It's your shoulders we are standing on right now.
Again, it's a big honor to hear people say that. I mean, a lot of times we don't, like I said, we don't drink it in, but we are starting to now. Another reason why we're doing this show is because we've been pretty reclusive and haven't really been touching our family. We haven't really been kicking it with our kids, you know, or getting down with our children. Right. But now, you know, we feel like we're in a position now. We got our own stuff together. We had to get our house in order in order to, you know, let everybody come in the house. You know, the house wasn't right yet. Right. You know, we had to fix it. Right. So now we got the house in order and we got everything together. Now we trying to bring everybody in, and, you know, we want to fellowship and kick it and, you know, all the good things. So once again, man, peace to you, man. All the blessings.
No
we'll
doubt,
see you
brother.
soon. All right, Rob?
When's the book coming out, G? D, you got to put the book out, man.
Got to.
Yeah, as soon as they give me the deal. Anyway,
listen,
deal come through.
You don't need no deal. You can put it out online, bro.
Yeah.
Here we go.
You can put it out online, man.
I'm doing leaps and bounds doing this Zoom with you, brother. Please tell them.
Listen, we in the era where listen, we can
trust
set
and
it
believe.
on our own.
I'm doing major moves right now doing this Zoom. Trust me.
Yes. But yo, man.
So peace to you, man.
The world needs to hear your story. They need to know about Sugarhill Gang on a deeper level. Like, I know the stories. Like, so I mean, I can't tell nobody because I'm like, they're gonna be looking at me like, okay, what they got to do with you? But I'm saying, so you guys that actually lived it, breathed it, went through it, and know what it is, like, the world needs to know that.
It's coming.
The world
it's on the way.
No doubt.
It's on the way.
No doubt.
The ups, the downs, the highs, the lows, the pitfalls, like
it's on the way. That, it's on the way. It's on the way, Rob. Thank you, brother.
I'm looking forward to it, and yo, the first 10 copies I got. I'm
awesome. Thank you.
No doubt, my brother. No doubt.
All right, Rob. All the best.
All
the best, man. No doubt. We'll be in touch with you.
All right, man, dog.
No doubt.
All right, man. Listen, this is the Sugarhill Gang Podcast. We're thanking you all for coming on in, and we hope to see you soon. Enjoy us, man, and we enjoy you. We love you for loving us. Say good night, Diamond.
Good night, Diamond.
Stay safe, my brother.
Good night, Hen.
All right, no doubt. Stay safe,
night,
bro.
Yes, sir.
Good night. Good night.
All right.
Good night, Rahzel.
Later.
Good night, Rahzel.